In the dying light of the Andromedan sun, a single warrior staggered through the shattered remains of his ship, his crimson armor torn and his breathing shallow. The mighty Xyrixian king, Vorek-Ka, known across the galaxy for his conquests and feared for his might, now found himself stranded and abandoned on a desolate world after his flagship, the Bloodthorn, fell to a surprise attack by a coalition of alien races. The coalition, formed by the Agnorans, the Mkrell, and the Synthoids, had once allied with Vorek-Ka, even fought alongside him, but that alliance had always been one of necessity rather than trust. They feared his power and, once he was no longer useful, were quick to leave him to die. They never expected him to survive the attack. For days, he wandered the barren wasteland, clinging to life as his mind raged at the betrayal. As his vision blurred from exhaustion and his body weighed heavy with defeat, he thought of his people and the honor he'd upheld through centuries of war. The warrior king could not accept such an inglorious end. Yet fate had other plans. In the sector known as human space, an unusual distress beacon was detected by the Evelyn, a reconnaissance vessel of Earth's Federation Navy. Captain Naomi Reeves, known for her level-headed command style, ordered the crew to investigate the signal despite the risk. "It's a distress signal from a Xyrixian ship," she told her bridge officers. "We'd normally avoid the Xyrixians, but there's something strange about this one. It's alone." "Captain, the Xyrixians have never allied with us before." "Why risk our own people?" asked her first officer, Lieutenant Quinn. "Because," she replied with a wry smile, "it's what makes us different from the rest of the galaxy." Upon arrival, they found the wrecked remains of the Bloodthorn. Scans revealed a single life sign, faint but unmistakably Xyrixian. Naomi knew the reputation of Vorek-Ka, yet she also knew the Federation's standing orders to respond to distress calls when they could, regardless of origin. It was the defining code of humanity. After a tense descent and a brutal struggle to stabilize his condition, they managed to bring Vorek-Ka aboard. The medbay hummed with activity as Dr. Ashwin Singh, the chief medical officer, worked tirelessly to treat the warrior's wounds. But even the advanced human medical technology had its limits. Days passed, and Vorek-Ka slowly regained strength. Though suspicious of the human's motives, he was not ungrateful. He asked to see the ship's captain, eager to understand why she had saved him when so many others had left him to die. Captain Reeves entered the med bay and stood beside his bed, arms crossed. "So, you're Vorek-Ka, the famed king of the Xyrixians. How are you feeling?" He studied her, the proud warrior still visible despite his weakened state. "Confused. My allies, the Agnorans, the Mkrell, and the Synthoids, left me to rot. And yet here I lie alive, thanks to humans." "Why?" She shrugged. "Humans don't usually need a reason to help someone in distress. It's our way." The warrior scoffed, his voice a rumbling growl. "Your kindness is a weakness, Captain. One the galaxy will exploit." "We're aware of the risks," she said calmly. "But sometimes the hardest thing in this universe is staying true to yourself. And we value compassion. It's a strength, not a weakness." Intrigued, Vorek-Ka regarded her with a newfound respect. These humans were unlike any race he had encountered. They were resourceful and resilient, but also compassionate, a trait many alien species scorned. He began to wonder if perhaps there was power in mercy, a strength that his people and former allies had overlooked. The following weeks saw Vorek-Ka aboard the Evelyn, recovering and studying the human crew. He observed how they cared for one another, how they laughed and fought together. He marveled at their capacity to endure hardship without losing their spirit. They were strange creatures, these humans, and yet something in their ways resonated with him. One evening, as they passed through a field of glittering asteroids, he found himself standing beside Captain Reeves on the observation deck. "You could have let me die, Captain," he murmured. "It would have been easier. I am your people's enemy." "Maybe in the past," she replied, gazing out at the stars. "But here and now, you're just a person who needed help. And we were there." Vorek-Ka frowned, and used to such an outlook. "Such mercy is rare. Dangerous? It can be," Naomi agreed, glancing at him with a smirk. But in the end, it's what makes us human. Vorek-Ka's admiration grew, though he rarely expressed it. The more he learned of these humans, the more he respected them. For the first time in centuries, he questioned his people's ways, wondering if strength alone was worth the sacrifices it demanded. And he could not deny the strange bond forming between him and his human rescuers. But the universe did not forget so easily. Word of Vorek-Ka's survival spread, reaching the ears of his former allies. Angered by the possibility of his return, the Aknorans, Krell, and Synthoids formed a blockade, determined to destroy the Evelyn and finish what they had started. As alarms blared, Vorek-Ka joined Captain Reeves on the bridge, his expression hardened and resolute. "I won't let them harm your people. This fight is mine." Naomi shook her head. "You're part of this crew now, Vorek-Ka. This is our fight, too." Together, they strategized, combining human ingenuity with Vorek-Ka's tactical brilliance. The humans fought with everything they had, using nimble maneuvers and relentless coordination, while Vorek-Ka's expert knowledge of the coalition's tactics gave them a much-needed edge. Against all odds, the Evelyn emerged victorious, its crew battered but unbroken. Vorek-Ka marveled at the tenacity of the humans, at the power that came from their unity and compassion. He had once considered them weak, but now he saw their strength in a new light. After the battle, Vorek-Ka stood in the hangar, ready to return to his own people. Yet something held him back. He turned to Captain Reeves, his voice softer than she'd ever heard. "You saved my life, gave me a new way to see the universe. If ever you or your people have need of me, the Xyrixians will answer." With that, he boarded his ship, leaving the humans behind, but taking their values with him. Vorek-Ka returned to his people, a changed king, vowing to lead with a newfound understanding of strength, not just of body and mind, but of heart. And in the years to come, when the galaxy's darkness crept closer, the humans would call upon their unlikely ally, the once-feared warrior king, who would rise to defend them alongside his Xyrixian warriors, bound not by duty, but by gratitude, respect, and something even more profound.